course, want to keep you up to date with all the latest information on coronavirus testing sites. So joining us today is Dr. Edgar Bullock from Borrego Health, who will give us a little information on their latest East Valley COVID-19 testing site. Welcome, Dr. Bullock.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we're so thrilled that the East Valley has this amazing opportunity to have a testing site. Tell me a little bit about the location and the days and hours that you're open.
So in correlation with the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians and the mayor of Coachella, Borrego Health is partnered to bring testing to the Eastern Coachella Valley region. So we currently have a test site set up at the Spotlight 29 Casino, where we're offering testing Fridays and Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Oh, that's terrific. And I know people are concerned about appointments. Do you have to make an appointment prior?
So we prefer the appointment just to kind of expedite. The way that we have the setup is a drive-through process to ensure smooth flow of traffic. We ask for patients to call our nurse triage line to get set up with an appointment.
Excellent. And that was my next question. So you just drive through, you can stay in your car, you don't have to go out and get into another area, you actually just stay in your vehicle?
Yeah, so that's what's the beauty of it. So this actually helps us preserve our protective equipment, which is in limited supply. So we're able to use the same PPE without having to change as often. And then patients stay in their car. So it also decreases the risk of exposure to not only our employees, but also to the patients themselves, to other patients that are getting tested for COVID. So it really works very well that way.
And another question we get, of course, is there a cost?
So there's no out-of-pocket expense for any patients. We really are trying to expand testing to a more widespread population. That way we can really isolate the patients that are positive and ensure that they understand what isolation means to decrease the risk of exposure. So because of that, we are not offering, or we're not charging for any of the tests. So the patients will not have any out-of-pocket expense, regardless if they have insurance or not.
Oh, that is terrific. That's a really valuable opportunity, I know, for everyone in the Valley, but especially those in the East Valley. So to date, how many tests have you been able to do, and what have the positive results been?
So specifically at that one location that we're testing at, the Spotlight 29 Casino, we've tested over 400 patients. And of those 400, 27 have come back positive.
And then what is your protocol after that? Do you require that they quarantine for 14 days?
We do, yeah. So anybody who tests positive, we call them immediately with the results. We talk to them about what isolation means and how to decrease the risk of exposure to anybody within their household or in the community at large. We follow up with them several times throughout the course of a 2-week period to ensure that their symptoms are not worsening. And then at the end of that quarantine period, we make sure that they fit the CDC criteria for the release of isolation. So ensure that there's been an improvement in their respiratory symptoms and that they've been afebrile for more than 3 days without the use of fever-reducing meds, and ensure that it's been at least 10 days since the symptom onset. So if they've met those 3 criteria, the CDC recommends that they can be released from isolation because they're not considered to be infectious at that point. So we really talk to them about what that means, make sure that they really are following those guidelines, and in that respect, hopefully decreasing the risk of community spread.
That's great. And I know a lot of people are concerned, if you don't have any symptoms at all, do you still need to get a test if you don't have a sore throat or a fever or any kind of aches and pains? Is it wise to still get a test?
So it's a really good question, and the jury's still out on that. We do have a large percentage of patients that are presenting asymptomatic, so we can detect before they actually start presenting with symptoms. And in that case, it would be good to get patients that are asymptomatic tested, so that we can isolate those patients as well before they spread to a lot of other patients. It's been challenging for us because we were initially very limited in our test kits, and still to this day, we're running out of the nasopharyngeal swab that we used to use, which was the gold standard, has now been replaced by just a sample of the anterior nostrils and also the throat. So Ideally, if we had unlimited supply of test kits, I would recommend that anybody get tested so we can get that asymptomatic patient population detected and followed through. We are testing asymptomatic patients at that individual test site. And there is a surprisingly larger amount of asymptomatic patients that are coming back positive. So.
Well, I know that's such important data to make sure that you've got those results. So thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us. And once again, tell us the location and the hours that you'll be open.
So we're at the Spotlight 29 Casino. Currently, we're testing every Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. If that's what we have for now, if we need to expand hours later on, we might do so based on volume.
Great, excellent. And of course, make an appointment and no cost to the person coming in. Thank you so much, Doctor, for all you're doing for our community. And we're certainly hoping that we're getting you some good results that will help in your data and hopefully trying to find some kind of pattern to this really terrible virus.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, for allowing us to advertise that we do have this testing available.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.